Payton tweeted out a selfie saying, quote, "Appreciate the well wishes. I'm feeling better and fortunate to not have any of the respiratory symptoms. 4 more days at home. Beat COVID," with the hashtag there. So it's a pretty scary time right now for all of us, quite frankly. NFL players are dealing with the changeover of the new league year, the business that comes with that, and David Carr and Terrell Davis trying to remain in shape, and the new players joining new teams trying to gel with their new teammates when many of the facilities are shut down right now. DC, what, and neither one of you have gone through this, of course, before, but what type of an approach should guys take right now, David?
It's going to have to be very creative. I think that's the first thing. And most guys have the luxury of either having some equipment at home or can, facilitate a trainer to come to the house and make something happen there from a physical standpoint. And then, eating-wise, everything can kind of pretty much remain the same, even though there's mostly nothing at the grocery stores, I've checked. But as far as the football thing goes, that's the interesting part, because Tom Brady's going to Tampa Bay. Guys are moving, and they're trying to figure out how to meld these offenses together. So when you have quarterbacks bouncing all over the league, you have to figure out how to get on the field with some of these guys, because if we just wait until August and roll in there and think we're going to be, game ready to put a good product on the field, that's going to be extremely difficult. So you're going to have to be very creative, but also very safe and smart, because you don't want guys jumping on planes, flying all over the country to meet up with each other, because a lot of guys live in different cities. So, like, for instance, Derek, he just went to Vegas because San Francisco is literally shutting down. He went there last night. He's in Las Vegas right now at his home there, and he's just kind of laying low, working out. The gym equipment showed up. And then from a throwing standpoint, trying to get some work in. Devontae Adams lives in the Bay Area, but now they're separated by a couple hundred miles. So he's trying to find guys that can maybe come out to a park or find somewhere outside where you can get some work done. But it's going to have to be a very creative approach.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. You can get some film study done. You can get some FaceTime with guys to go over the offensive concepts or defensive concepts, but it's pretty limited. But as far as working out, I have an idea of what you can do to work out. I've been working on this. You got to show this. That's how you get your swole on right there. If you're at home, you just go in your backyard, you do a few little squats right there.
Perfect.
You know what I'm saying? A little standing ab crunches right there. You don't need a jump rope. Jump rope is optional. You just jump and you got there. Little burpees. Then you finish it off with some push-ups, man. So that's how you keep your swole on you and you stay fit.
I'm looking through the rundown right now. I didn't see time built in.
You don't need no weights.
I didn't see time built in for TD topless humble brag here.
That's on Instagram, by the way.
Is that your IG? Go ahead and give it out. Is it?
Go ahead.
It's the real Terrell Davis, by the way. There it is.
There you go.
I'm going to do that workout tomorrow.
Where's DC, where's yours, man? Put yours up.
David, we expect
tomorrow. Stay tuned.
From the swimming pool in the backyard. Yeah, absolutely. Fellas, thank you. All right, some more players doing what they can to help out during these difficult times. One of them, Baker Mayfield and his wife. They are matching all donations up to $50,000 to the Cleveland Food Bank. Posting that out on @BakerMayfield on Twitter. Other big story today, the Rams cutting Todd Gurley. He was the NFL's leading touchdown scorer for 2 of the last 3 years. At one time, the premier running back in the league, but last year, knee issues greatly diminished his production, and some financial considerations were involved in his release today as well. Gurley, 2017, 2018, you could call him the best running back in the NFL. 2019, fell into double digits in all the categories that you see right there. And carries, of course, went down as well, as the Rams were trying to be judicious with his wear and tear. Gurley, upon hearing the news today, "Damn, I got fired on my day off," going with the Friday quote right there, and then hashtag quarantine and chill. Let's bring in our former Pro Bowl running back, Maurice Jones-Drew, right now, who's wearing something that it could be out of the Debo collection, I think. Well, if you button the top button, but you're looking good, MJD. Okay. Look, this is serious business, though. Todd Gurley is your guy. You work with the Rams during the season. What do you think about this decision?
Well, granted, it's a tough decision, right? Todd Gurley's a guy that literally took the Rams to the playoffs, Coach McVay's first year, and then got them to a great opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, having them set up. Now, I know C.J. Anderson came back and kind of led some of that, but Todd was the guy that got him there and ran well in the playoffs against the Dallas Cowboys. He didn't play as well against the Saints, but had some big runs in the Super Bowl, so he's been their guy. And it is disheartening to see that, you have a bad year and this happens, but this is part of the business. This is the business of the NFL that we see, that we hate. And that's why I always dislike when fans say you should take a team discount, because in this situation, if you don't produce the way they feel you should, they have the right to release you and cut you. And that's what happened here. But I still feel that Todd's a guy. We saw a lot of the burst there. The Rams this year had some issues with their offensive line with injuries. We saw that's why all the numbers went down. It wasn't just the running game. The receiving numbers went down. Obviously, the wins went down and the losses went up. So they, you have to find a way to get those yardage and those touchdowns and those big plays that Todd was able to bring back for the next couple of years.
Okay, I'm going to give you 30 seconds, not on the Gurley stuff, but that's symptomatic of a larger issue in the NFL. The running back position as it stands right now and how the running backs are treated by coaches and general managers these days. Go ahead, 30 seconds.
Well, so it's funny to me that we could pay quarterbacks who, to be quite honest, are average a bunch of money, hundreds of millions of dollars, $29 million a year. Yet we don't pay the running back that they need to help them to see these simple coverages, to load the box, i.e., the Tennessee Titans. Derrick Henry, we saw what happened this year. We've seen it with Todd Gurley. Again, we've seen it with Melvin Gordon when he was playing well. Obviously, Saquon Barkley before Eli kind of fell off the cliff. Ezekiel Elliott, the reason the Cowboys paid him because they knew how important he was not only on the field but to that locker room as well. When you have a special running back, and I've always said this, when you have a special running back, it makes the whole team better. You can ask any player in the NFL about that. But for some reason, coaches and GMs don't feel that way. And a lot of it has to do with, because of the shelf life. But I completely disagree with that.
Well, last question for you. The world wants to know this one right here. Your home cam, is it a high desk or a low chair?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm sitting in a chair. But this is how I get down.
Put your elbows up there real quick on that right in front of you there. It looks like
right here.
Like, yeah, you're like, that's like a shelf in front of you.
It's a shelf.
Okay,
yeah.
Optical illusion. Hey, it's a brave new world for all of us dealing with the home cams and trying to keep social distancing integrity here. But MJD, a true professional, when he has to stick up for his fellow running backs, he comes and joins us here on NFL Total Access. Appreciate you, Maurice.
All right, Scott. See you later.
All right, see you. We got some other notable running back news. He alluded to some of these here. Derrick Henry getting the franchise tag from Tennessee, but not to this point a long-term contract. David Johnson, who was a franchise running back, it would have appeared for at least a year or two in Arizona, traded to Houston for DeAndre Hopkins and a couple of draft picks. Kenyon Drake got the transition tag from Arizona, and Melvin Gordon, who MJD just mentioned, remains unsigned, a Pro Bowl caliber running back. Check back in with our Hall of Famer, Terrell Davis. TD, let's start with Derrick Henry. Franchise tag by the Titans. They say they're working on a new deal, but nothing yet. Should they make Henry the highest paid running back in football?
First, Scott, you were wrong for that, man. Ask MJD about his desk. You're wrong for that, but I digress. Let me finish my thing. Yeah, of course he should be the highest paid running back. And, and this is really me speaking as a guy that was in that position, right? When you put in the work, you're the best player on the team. You're the reason why this team was able to make a deep run in the postseason. He's only gotten better from the first year he was in Tennessee, had career highs last year. But I also see this from the GM standpoint. If I'm John Robinson, the Titans GM, I obviously look around the NFL and I see what's happening. I see what happened to Todd Gurley. I see what happened. I mean, Zeke is pretty consistent. I see what happened with David Johnson. I see what happened to Lev Bell. So when you're looking around, you're saying, wow, am I paying you for what you've done or am I paying you for what you're going to do? I think there's got to be a compromise somewhere. There's got to be a number that makes both sides happy. And I know that Derrick Henry wants to be the highest paid running back, as he should be. But, man, it's a tough one for me because it is. It's a position where, once you get hurt and you have one small injury or something that's not right, it could linger for a long time. So that's a tough one for me, Scott.
Especially because Derrick Henry is a guy who delivers and receives blows on a carry-by-carry basis there. Yep. We just mentioned there the David Johnson deal, DeAndre Hopkins going to Arizona. Yeah. Do you think – how does this trade work out for either or both teams?
I don't know. I mean, you see the trade go down. You see D-Hop going to Arizona. David Johnson, who really hasn't had a good – season since his second season, and then he hurt his wrist and he missed that entire year, came back and hasn't been the same player. So I don't know if you're Houston, how you won with this trade. Obviously, there's talks about DeAndre, and what was going on behind the scenes, wanting a new contract, beef with the head coach. I understand that, but to make that trade to bring in David Johnson, who hasn't proven that he can stay healthy and be productive, I think the Texans are searching for how they can be a better team. But I don't see that happening with that trade.
Okay, finally, let's give Melvin Gordon some love. Find Melvin Gordon a home where he can be happy, well paid, and produce on the field. Where is he going?
This is a great question. For some reason, Buffalo just keeps popping in my head. Yeah. That's the team that they run the ball extremely well. They just traded for Stephon Diggs, so they have another weapon along with John Brown. They've got a quarterback, Josh Allen, who's got a big arm, but also a guy that contributes in the running game. They're going to run the football. And I think just up there in the Northeast with the weather and a team that likes to grind it out that's a good fit for me. You can be teamed up with Singletary. So I think it's a really good fit for Melvin Gordon to go play with the Buffalo Bills. They're going to probably be the favorites in that division as well since Tom Brady went south.
There was some partying, albeit socially distant partying in Buffalo over the last 48 hours since that news broke. What about Tampa Bay, though? So we could pair Melvin Gordon and Tampa Bay.
That would be incredible. I mean, that's another place.
Some people think they're just a running back away and maybe another lineman or two from being maybe the best offense in football. Dare I say that?
I would take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. TD, thank you. I got some more running back news for you here, TD. Jordan Howard heading to South Beach. Jordan Howard, former Eagle, former Bear, agreed to a 2-year, $10 million contract with the Dolphins today. Had a team-leading 7 touchdowns last season with the Eagles. Eagles, speaking of them, they bolstered their secondary. This is a big move that could have ripple effect when it comes to wins and losses this year. They made a trade with the Detroit Lions today. Philadelphia acquires Darius Slay in exchange for a 3rd-round pick and a 5th-round pick.